The haunting legacy of Waverly Hills Sanatorium. High on a hill overlooking Louisville, Kentucky, sits the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, a building as grand in its history as it is in its eerie reputation. Its story is one of hope, tragedy, and resilience, forever tied to the scourge of tuberculosis, TB, also known as the White Plague, which ravaged communities across the United States in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. What follows is a journey through its past, from its origins as a beacon of medical innovation to its present as one of the most haunted locations in America. The origins of Waverly Hills trace back to the early 20th century when Jefferson County, Kentucky, was grappling with a tuberculosis epidemic. At the time, TB was a leading cause of death worldwide, and its highly contagious nature made treatment and containment a monumental challenge. Patients were often sent to sanatoriums, facilities designed to provide fresh air, rest and isolation, which were believed to help combat the disease. In 1910, a small two-story wooden sanatorium opened on the grounds of what would become Waverly Hills. It could accommodate only a few dozen patients, far fewer than needed. As the epidemic worsened, the demand for larger, more advanced facilities grew. In 1926, the grand Waverly Hills Sanatorium we know today was completed. A sprawling 5-story, 400-bed hospital designed specifically to treat tuberculosis patients. Waverly Hills was state-of-the-art for its time. Its design emphasized ventilation, light and cleanliness, with large windows and open porches where patients could benefit from fresh air therapy. Nurses and doctors worked tirelessly, often risking their own health to care for patients. The treatments available then might seem barbaric by today's standards. Procedures included thoracoplasty, a painful surgery to remove ribs and collapse infected lungs, and pneumothorax treatments, which involved pumping air into the chest cavity. Patients also underwent endless hours of sunbathing on the porches, regardless of the weather, as sunlight was thought to kill bacteria. Despite these efforts, tuberculosis had no cure until the advent of antibiotics like streptomycin in the 1940s. Many patients at Waverly Hills succumbed to the disease, and the hospital's mortality rate was high. Deaths were so frequent that a body chute, a tunnel leading down the hill, was used to discreetly transport deceased patients out of sight of others, maintaining morale. Life at Waverly Hills was a mix of routine and resilience. Patients formed close bonds with one another and with the staff, creating a sense of community despite the bleak circumstances. Children with TB had their own wing and often spent their days in classrooms or playing in specially designed areas. The hospital wasn't just a place for treatment. It was self-sufficient with its own farm, water supply and power plant. This isolated environment was crucial to prevent the spread of tuberculosis to the outside world. Yet, it also added to the sense of separation and loneliness felt by patients and staff alike. The discovery of antibiotics in the 1940s was a turning point in the fight against tuberculosis. By the early 1950s, cases had plummeted, and sanatoriums like Waverly Hills were no longer necessary. In 1961, Waverly Hills closed as a TB hospital and was later repurposed as Woodhaven Geriatric Center, a nursing home for elderly patients with severe mental and physical disabilities. Unfortunately, Woodhaven became infamous for allegations of neglect and mistreatment, including overcrowding and inadequate staffing. The facility was shut down in 1981, leaving the massive building abandoned. For years, Waverly Hills sat empty, falling into disrepair. Its towering halls and crumbling walls became a magnet for urban explorers, thrill seekers, and vandalism. Rumours of ghostly activity began to spread, fueled by the building's dark history and its imposing Gothic appearance. Today, Waverly Hills is one of the most famous haunted locations in the world, drawing paranormal enthusiasts and ghost hunters from far and wide. Stories of eerie encounters abound, and the building's shadowy halls seem to breathe mystery. Among the most well-known legends is Room 502, where a nurse is said to have died by suicide in the 1930s. Some claim to hear her cries or see her ghost standing near the windows. Another tale speaks of ghostly children playing in the halls, perhaps echoing the laughter of patients who once tried to find joy in their grim surroundings. The body chute has its own reputation, with visitors reporting feelings of dread and ghostly whispers. Others speak of shadowy figures, unexplained footsteps, and objects moving on their own. These stories, though unprovable, have cemented Waverly Hills as a paranormal hotspot. In recent years, efforts have been made to preserve Waverly Hills. The building is now privately owned, and its caretakers offer guided tours, historical talks, and paranormal investigations. Proceeds from these events help fund restoration projects to stabilise the structure and maintain its historical integrity. Beyond its reputation for hauntings, Waverly Hills is a poignant reminder of a time when tuberculosis devastated communities and medical science was still struggling to catch up. Its towering presence is a testament to the resilience of those who fought for survival, patients, nurses, and doctors alike. Waverly Hills Sanatorium is more than just a haunted location. It's a monument to the human spirit. It tells the story of an era when disease shaped lives and communities, but also one of innovation, care, and the relentless pursuit of hope. Whether you visit for the ghost stories or the history, Waverly Hills remains a place where the past lingers, whispering its tales through its decaying walls.